Hello, friends. Welcome to you all. Today, I am presenting a chronic case of migraine with Chloasma, with blemishes on the face. I hope you will enjoy this case and you will learn the case taking process, the analysis, and the observations which we as homeopaths make in our clinics. As is popularly said, and required also that a homeopath needs to keep his ears and eyes open when taking up a case because the body language and the gestures the patient is doing in front of you during case taking is a non-verbal kind of the language, which is the physiognomy of the patient. Through gestures a lot is conveyed which otherwise, through the usage of positive and other words, the person is unable to convey what he or she means. Decoding the body language, decoding the gestures, and decoding the various impressions the patient has of his surroundings and his reactions to the immediate surroundings leads us to understand the inner core of the patient because each one of us is different from the other. No two people are alike. So everyone acts, interacts, and behaves in a given situation in a different way. So we start the case. This is the case of a 39 years old working female patient who was suffering with intense migraine attacks with vomiting since she was 19 years of age. She comes to the clinic with her husband. She migrated to Canada when she was 26 years old. She was taken to various doctors for treatment while in India and while in Canada as well. The headache starts, as per her experience, between 2 and 3 p.m. and continues until midnight. The headaches are worst before, during, and after her menstrual cycle. Each time she has the migraine attack, she vomits out also. She throws up also. The headache becomes so intense that it shifts sides, and she says that her condition becomes miserable at that time. She was under homeopathic treatment also continuously for 3 years from some homeopath in Canada, but she did not get any relief. The migraine attacks are aggravated, as I told you earlier, during, after, and before her menstrual period. Since 2022, she has developed blemishes on her cheeks and on the forehead. She has tried various topical creams and ointments, but of no use. Now, after this, I ask her the question: when you have migraines, what this pain force you to do in order to feel good? This is my question generally, which I ask each and every patient who comes with any of the sickness, any of the problems. So any problem would advise that particular patient to manage it in certain way. The patient will always answer according to his own wish and will, which he prevails and uses at that time to control himself or herself. This is an open ended question, and as homeopaths, we need to ask open ended questions. To this question of mine, when she was trying to gather up certain words to reply, what I observe is that she mumbled few words And then she turns her face towards her husband as if looking for answer, looking for suitable words from him. From this observation, I was able to make or come to three rubrics, which really helped me to select the remedy. If I was not attentive, or I wouldn't have had my attention on the patient, I would have missed these observations. I made a side note on our file that she is mumbling for words initially. Then, when she is unable to find the proper word, then she turns her face to her husband as if looking for answer or looking for that particular word which she feels is somewhere stuck in her mind. Then I ask her the next question as to what do you do when you are in such a condition and how do you handle yourself? Her answer is, I do not like anyone talking to me, and my interaction with others comes to a standstill. I close the door and prefer to be by myself if I am at home. Then I ask her the question, how do you manage this crisis if you are at work? She says, actually, my work or my shift ends around 2 p.m., and around that time is the time of the headache to start. So I'm already packing up my stuff to go home after my shift. And by the time I reach home, it's almost already started, and I like to take rest, be quiet, and not to be spoken to by anyone, as I told earlier. Then I ask her the question, how did you decide to come to me today? From here, I get the maximum help from her version, from her report as an answer to this question. She says there is a story behind it. My mother in law comes to you for her treatment, and she was pushing me for so long to come and see you. When I'm in such intense pain, she keeps on saying, go to him, you will be fine. But every time she used to impress upon the need for me to come to you, I used to tell her, I have taken homeopathic medicine earlier for 3 years continuously. How can it help me now? Whenever I am down with migraines, my mother in law does not stop telling me every time that I should come to your clinic. Every time I listen to her saying this, and I see, now that's all. Now, from this version, I got minimum two rubrics, which helped me further to connect with her inner feelings and then come to the selection of the remedy. Then I ask her, what brings you to me today finally? She says, I am fed up from the constant rhetoric of my mother-in-law, her pushing in time and again, time and again. I thought it proper not to get upset with her on this issue. It is better to see you as she is forcing me so much. Now, this version also gives me another beautiful rubric, which I will discuss with you later. She says in Hindi, वो means मेरी mother-in-law, हर समय मुंह बनाकर बैठ जाती हैं, which I do not like. मुंह बनाकर बैठ जाती हैं. There is a beautiful rubric in our repertory which totally befits this situation or this body language of the mother-in-law. So that is the end of the case. Now, I will come to the rubrical analysis of this case before I go to explain as to how I cracked these rubrics, how I came to select these rubrics. So let me take you to the analysis of the case. The rubrics which I took were, first of all, she wants to be quiet. She doesn't want to be talked to. So first rubric in the mind section of the repertory which I took was quiet wants to be. Then the second rubric was she is averse to being spoken to. So there is another rubric, beautiful rubric with us, spoken to, aversion to, and she wants to be alone also. She doesn't want to be disturbed. So what she's conveying when she says that I come to my home, I prefer to lie down, I close the door means she wants to be by herself, she wants to be alone. And that aloofness of hers gives her a feeling of feeling some peace in her suffering. And then when she turns her face towards her husband, what does it convey? We have beautiful rubric in our repertory which says it goes like this: looked at cannot bear to be, faces away, talked to when. Looked at cannot bear to be, faces away, that means turns her face away when talked to. When question is being asked to her, she is, rather than applying to the question, she turns her face towards her husband as if looking for an answer. So, what these things, this observation which I made, which I told you when I was reciting the case, so when she turns her face to the husband, mumbles few words, this tells me that she is having poverty of words. She's feeling paucity of suitable words which are not coming to her mind. That means she is hunting for words. And when she is looking towards her husband, as if he is going to be her spokesman and will fill in that missing word which she is hunting for, there is a beautiful rubric in our mind section of the repertory: delusion, head belongs to another. So I took these two rubrics out of this observation: delusion, head belongs to another, looked at, cannot bear to be, faces away or turns her face away when talked to. And when she is being pushed time and again, time and again, time and again by her mother in law to come to me, she was not paying any attention to it. Most of the times, what we do while listening to such stories, we categorize the patient as if he or she is indifferent to the suffering, indifferent to the problem he or she is facing. But indifference is a term which we apply where the patient knows about his or her suffering, connects with his or her suffering, but is totally oblivious of getting any help, does not go anywhere. But in this case, because she had already taken the treatment, including homeopathy, and now also her mother in law was speaking out of her own experiences from my clinic and from the medicine which I gave her. She was pushing her on this objective, reasonable point, which the daughter in law, our patient, was unable to recognize or unable to agree to it. So here it's not indifference on the part of the patient, it is rather a reason, an objective reason which the patient is advancing to a mother in law that I have already taken homeopathy for 3 years, which has not made any difference. How can it make it now? So she is giving a reason. So the rubric which I took was objective reasonable. This is a beautiful rubric in our mind section of the repertory. And when the patient says that when my mother-in-law pushes me so much and I do not agree, वो अपना मुंह बना के बैठ जाती है, मीन्स उनका फेस कुछ और तरह का हो जाता है. When we go to our repertory, there is a beautiful rubric, delusion sees faces distorted. And there is another rubric, inconsolable. So what is inconsolable? A person who is so adamant, who does not agree or abide by what others are saying. Maybe he is under some grief and people come to sympathize with him or console with him. He doesn't like to be consoled. Similarly, a patient for whose benefit someone else is advising him or her to take a particular kind of help or to go to a particular place where there is a likelihood of getting relief, the patient does not agree to it. That means the patient is inconsolable to that fact. So the next rubric which I took was inconsolable. After repertorizing with all these rubrics, I came to a single remedy which was natrum muriaticum. Natrum mur is a periodic table of elements remedy. Natrum is placed in the first column of the third row, which is called the silica series and is also called popularly as a relationship series. And the muriaticum or chloratum element is in the 17th column or stage of the periodic table. Natrum mu, therefore, is a compound remedy after joining of the two elements. This very case I have also analyzed with the periodic table of elements themes because I teach periodic table time to time to the students. Some other time I will also teach this very case from the point of view of the group analysis based upon periodic table of elements. So natrum muriaticum was the remedy in the forefront. I gave this remedy to the patient in 30 potency in single dose. After 15 days, the patient comes and tells me that next day of taking the remedy, I had a huge vomiting, but I didn't have the same intensity of the migraines as it used to happen earlier. This time, the intensity and the force of the headache of the migraine was only 20%. On this visit, I gave her placebo and requested her to come after 15 days. So when she comes after 30 days, in all, after the initial consult, she tells me that my skin is also very clear. I have had my menstrual period and there was no migraine before, during, or after at all. And she said that I am very cheerful. Now I can focus very well on my work, both at my workplace, and at my household. Now, I profusely thank my mother in law, who was there for me, who had the sympathies for me, who wanted me to get better, but it was me only who was not paying proper heed to her saying. So, friends, this was the case, and sometime in future, when we take up this case from periodic table of elements, group analysis way, then I will give you the understanding journey of the natrum muriaticum. I hope you enjoyed the case. That's all for today. For future videos and participating in my future case presentations, please subscribe to my homeopathic channel, which is Radical Homeocures. Press the bell button icon so that the information lands in your inbox whenever I am alive with the cases on YouTube. Thank you very much for listening to me. Hope to see you soon again. Thank you.